Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3's Black Ice 10.41, and we are checking out to see how it is playing. But before we get into that, I want to give a special thanks to Sir Toyjet, Chief, and especially the Hoffmanator for their support over on Patreon. It is very much appreciated. I don't say thank you enough to those. And of course, just everybody, if you can, hit the like button, post a comment below. It really helps out the channel. I really do appreciate it. And of course, you can follow over on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. We're going to continue this, and I want to say, no, we're not finishing the live stream. Luigi, hello. Jackal Park, how are you doing? And Sarkan, how are you doing? How can I improve party organization and popularity? Thanks. Okay, that's a good question. He has here, and I don't have a good answer because we can see right now there's this internal factors. We are right now at 2%. This, and I don't know if, yes, spies, we'll get to that in a moment, Luigi. That does help. I've never seen this before, that it's gone anything like this. I have often seen fractured government with not everybody being, Nazis here. But that these other parties are getting such huge support. Normally it would be more fascist and paternal aristocrat. One thing, of course, will help is if you make sure all of these are brown for Nazis. I have a suspicion that them adding the 11th minister in here is throwing things off, but I don't know if I am just this is a sample size of one, unless a lot of you are also getting this super low. And I don't mean just because normally it's one thing to say, have, 26% or something popularity, which is fairly low. But to have this incredible low, like 2% popularity is just unheard of in my experience before. But if other people are getting it, I'd like to know. So yes, having all of the ministers be one party would help. The other is spies, and we are doing ruling party support. All of our spies are trying to do it. Beyond that, I do not know. I would say it's bugged, but again, sample size of one, just me playing this. I don't know what others are getting on that. So sample size of one is not enough for me to accuse, it's a Black Ice bug. And the only real thing is I can see is because we can scroll up and down. We have this Minister of Science that has been added, and if that somehow, but again, these are all either mostly Nazi, re-fascist, and one paternal autocrat. So why? I'm just realizing here as I'm saying this. The more support just about you have in government here, the less support you have here. So one paternal autocrat is here, though the fascists are slightly less. They're like at 1% if they're at 2%. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like it's inverse. And there is this internal factors, but I don't know what's going on here. This is wacky. So I just don't know what to think about it. Okay, capital ship damage control advance. Now these damage control and fire control, it is my understanding, will automatically upgrade without having to put the ships through an upgrade. Yeah, I don't know how much that's going to negative. I mean, it's giving us, low party popularity negative effects. But beyond that, mostly it's just the very low popularity is hurting us here, but we're still at, 98%, but it's slowly going down. It had been up at 99%. So I think that would go away. Thank you, Arno. Reference 10 spies at home for supporting party I have. Having a huge problem until I use 10 spies both France and England using counter-espionage. Okay, that could be the... Now, that's another possibility. I hadn't even really thought about that. They've been playing around with the EULA codes. Generally speaking, shall we say, um, uh, improving things. So that could be what's also going on here. Okay, ground attack tactics are we can attack the ground because we hate the ground so much. Yeah. Okay. The other one is industrial efficiency advance. Let me stop that because that's too far forward in time. Pushing, however you want to say it. Okay, let's improve our aircraft a bit. So what we can do here then is let's actually reduce this down and boost our spies. We're going to boost our spies and somehow trigger communist coup. I'll take my hat off to you. You're the most entertaining. Thank you. Until United Kingdom, isn't it? Yes, here we go. Okay. And counter espionage. So we could do counter espionage. There. And up in France. We will try that. And they may have tweaked the EULA codes to try to do much more intel warfare, if you will, political warfare. That could be a thing because I'm not, quite honestly, as you can tell, I normally don't have trouble, say, defeating France or defeating Poland. Sometimes I will try to put some spies into the Soviet Union to disrupt their national unity. Disrupt national unity for going after for that. And you can also do it to France to like make them surrender faster. But I normally don't have that problem. Sometimes I will, like I say, with the Soviet Union do that. But I just normally haven't had that big of a thing. Cruiser fire control computer advance. Okay. Yeah, we've reduced this down a lot, so we're just going to stop that for the moment. So that could be a thing. And maybe, of course, I've waited too long to really do this much, but okay, well, Now we've lost some, well, some I think of our, but we've also expanded our industry. Some of our negative effects. Right. Well, we've also deployed a lot of panzer divisions and light divisions. Okay. Let's go with one more big heavy transport. No, not three of them. One more. Big heavy transport. And let's go with 2 twin engine fighter squadrons. Get that up there. Coming up on the first of the year. Okay, direct fire unit combined arms have advanced, which I think means we're just going to stop that for now because we're going to try to reduce down to our need. Damage forts on at the Sudeten line of defense. No need. Okay, yeah, that's where I probably pick it. But yeah, okay. Spain would like to. They like our destroyers, so okay, we can have a destroyer. Plans, model, whatever. Yugoslavia. A lot of these nations like German destroyers, so they keep wanting to get ours. Okay, cast pilot training advance. Another just stop that. Yeah, it may have already dropped too much. We're still at 2%. Okay, close air support has advanced. Well, that's the Spirit Doctrine one. That's right. Okay, so that's grayed out. Well, yeah, we can do this ground attack focus. Tactical air support. That one, okay. We'll do air liaison. Now we're coming up to the first of the year. Interception tactics, which I think is over here. Yes. All right. Now we're actually in 1939, which means I'm going to see about doing some 1940 technology. Just looking at which ones I want to do first. Mechanical computing, electronic computing. Well, let's get mechanical computing going first. Okay. We want to annual national espionage focus. Now, I normally just do economic spying because normally the politics isn't a big enough thing, but we could do this. Political intel, ruling party support is what we're going to do, I'm pretty sure, but we can just look at extra spies. That's nice. Spy catching. Well, if they were doing a lot, if and I say if because I'm not saying anybody's wrong that we're getting spy or they're disrupting our national unity or supporting their parties in our country. They very well may be. If I knew for sure, this might be the way to go. But I think political spying with just political intel plus and ruling party support would be nice. So we're going to go with that as being important. Let's go with the next. We'll do our annual national focus. Rice resources might have been a thing to do earlier, but we're doing pretty well now, especially with Czechoslovakia in our pocket. I think we're just going to continue right now with this, and we're going to go with that. Then we're going economic boost long term. And we're going to take a quick look here. Not this far down. Up. Okay. Here we are. Okay. We can do normally, because I normally play with TRE installed. TRE gives Germany national highways, which I think is appropriate. And then the third one we would get would be the agricultural industry. That would be the third one. But we are doing fairly well in manpower. We don't have that. So we're going to go with national highways. Okay, the other thing I want to look at here is broadcasting. We're going to start this as well, and we're going to move particularly that to the top. There we go. So we can't look at computing too. Get broadcasting, that could help. Thanks, Luigi. Yeah, I mean, I'm very willing to listen to people's arguments, and I'm quite honestly astonished. I guess I just gone with the flow on most historical stuff for TRE that so few people have argued with my choices, not because I don't think I'm so brilliant. It's just or anything like that, but they've just sort of accepted a lot of the stuff. Okay, national highways. Okay, yes. Supply factories have improved. Good. End of the Sino. Okay, so we are no longer going to get resources from China. Check guns from the Sudeten forts. Yes. We don't really need metal or rare materials. I mean, yeah, we just don't. So we'll check artillery. We're gonna let these guys fly and not get the descent. Okay, yeah, 1%, 1.4%. That's not that bad to get that heavy artillery piece. Anyone else having similar German events firing post 1941 feels like a conflict between? Well, I don't know what version you're playing of Black Ice. There is the beta version of Black Ice for 10.33. And you can watch my previous series that what a instability mess and how I didn't get very far in playing it. If you're playing any TRE with 10.40 or later, it should be fucked up. It's just Now, okay, I don't really touch things like the Pullet-Side division um, with TRE. Um, I have a bunch of Schutzmannschaft uh, units once you get areas in the Eastern Front, the sort of policing units that are in TRE. Um, there is things like the Ritter SA, or no, the Ritter SS showing up. There are some and some SSHQ that show up fairly early that are not the Waffen SS, they're just the regular Allgemein SS. So I'm really not looking at doing anything with the Pullet-Side division that I can think of. Let's do the horse vessel thing now that we got that. So yeah, stay away from current TRE because it'll do things like load a really bad starting order of battle for Germany right now. Way back when it was a good one, but not anymore. Okay. Albania is now part of Italy. They're buying zinc, and we have lost 15% metal and 20% rare materials, so we've gotten more supplies. Money back at that. That will be an interesting. Okay, yes, we want the Pioneer Battalion. Is it in Berlin or somewhere else? Oh, yeah, up here. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I will say I have started, and maybe if you've noticed a few of our back and forth, I have started converting TRE to work for the new version. The one thing that I'm going to get some help from Exergen on, and we're going to figure out, and we're having to do it, adding back in the 8, being able to do 8 brigades instead of 7. So that is what sort of we're working on. But and actually some of the Black Ice people, I don't know if actually is the right term, but do know that they've been sort of helpful on some of the stuff, including there are some ship events. They given me some, talked me through and given me some code examples. Now I haven't actually gone in and actually done it yet, but to do their new system for the upcoming, whenever that is, 10.42, and they're smart not to give you a date. I'm pleased at that, but that will sort of put one version of the ship through this thing, I think is how it works. And then once it's deployed, I think it removes it and puts it in the proper kind of thing. There are, it's either like 4 or 5 ships for Germany if you include the Graf Zeppelin. I think it goes to 5. So the Blitzer heavy cruiser and some other historical ships are added. So I'll be doing some of that. But I really haven't dug into that, what they're doing. So they're being helpful. They've also pointed out what file, and I saved the information. I haven't gone in, and I'm going to go in and add all of. I don't know if I'll look at the additional ministers that I was given for TRE, that if they're already appropriately done into Black Ice, I won't be re-adding them. I'll just let it be the Black Ice version, but go in and do the tailor-made things. Basically, I will compare and contrast just to see if they've skewed things out, but go to the ones that I've done for all of the ministers, because you get like a Goering for armaments minister, which is different than the Goering for Chief of Air Force, different set of stats. You'll have all that. But what I'm also going to do is they've given me the file that, that that examines our factories or whatever you want to call it here, that adds more of these various factory setups here that you're getting these effects for here. That to the basically what I'm going to do is more or less and see, well, what do they think Shaq is supposed to do it, and just add that there, but with my other sets of stats for the various army and political leaders. So I will be doing that because I do think Hitler, and I would also have, and I'll go in and look at it. Like I say, Hess was very popular. We really don't see that reflected much these days. He would come out and speak before Hitler. He was sort of the warm-up act for before Hitler's speech, and they would, this is sort of simplifying it, but they would try to get everybody into the hall, the theater, the venue, get them there, have them waiting, have them anticipating, maybe have some other speakers before, but then have Rudolf Hess come out, speak to the crowd, sort of get them worked up, and then have Hitler come out as sort of the the headlining final act, and really work the crowds up. And Rudolf Hess this would also obviously be broadcast out on the radios often, the speeches, the nation was hearing it. So the nation really had a lot of good feelings towards Hess. He was within the Nazi Party hierarchy. He was not controversial. He was for the Nazis, sort of mainstream views publicly. Privately, he had a lot of his weird stuff going on, but publicly, that didn't really show up. So he was more than silent workhorse, much more so. Silent workhorse typifies, which we don't have here yet. I'm blanking on his name. You guys know I do this. Martin Borman. See, I know all this. Just when I start to think of something, for some reason it slips. Martin Borman. He is the silent workhorse type, which would not be. He was not a public figure. I don't know if Borman ever went out and spoke in a mass meeting. I'm not saying he didn't, but yeah, he's not. You're very true. He's not some random. But even a demagogue should have a lot of political party support because, they drum it up. So yeah, appears to be TRE with 4. Yeah, whatever. I forget the versions numbers, but they should be. It should state on the thing or when they're released which version. Now the version that's at the top at the first page download, that's for 911. You have to dig into the last 5 or 6 pages of threads to find the beta version, because I just never released it as this is perfect, or not perfect, but this is recommended now. Never got to that stage for me that I'm calling it recommended. Marine HQ's advance, which we're just going to stop. Political fusion government. Leadership modifiers. Okay, well, we're still trying to reduce that down. Now let's look at, okay, well, now I don't know. See now, here. I'm still not sure. Oh, come on. Yeah, stop moving around. Political factors. We now have dissent from ministers is still the negative 1.7, and I haven't touched or changed ministers. So internal factors is now being pushed up. We have political spying added. We have 2%. I don't know. Again, I don't know what some of this stuff is going on. Now, it could be that we've done the counter-espionage for Britain and France. Oh, we need more. We need more spies. Okay, so we need more spies. Yeah, I did find some problems with the thing, but I don't know what two similar pull-outside divisions that I don't know. I don't know. But in my last playthrough, I don't think I got to the point of having the pull-outside divisions in 39. Don't remember exactly, but it's just a god-awful mess. 1033 is just a god-awful mess. And I know I'm taking slower because I'm playing it in front of you. I know, but parachute and what is okay. Then if I just were to play it on my own, but oh well. Yeah, we'll do a tank factory. Yes. But I really do need to play this without GRE to really just look to see changes, to see, you know, whether it's the political, you know, setups here, whatever it may be, how things are working, before I go in and really do a modding to get GRE working right. And then, of course, and I'll be very willing to release once I'm sort of think I'm ready. Release sort of like I did before a beta version of GRE that you guys, you know, use at your own risk. It's, you know, that's sort of why we're calling it beta. And you know, put that out there, and then I will make a playthrough with it. And then if all that goes well, then we'll call it yay, and release it as sort of the main release. But basically, all of my versions of TRE are still downloadable. You just have to look through the thread, because sometimes people, I want to play with some really old version. Well, great, just figure it out. Go through the thread. I don't remember what versions are for what versions of Black Ice. Okay, installation security. That we're going to stop because we're overdoing it. And okay, 1.4. Another big heavy. I do intend to put out a good product, as it were. Hello. New show must have fighter techs and doctrines and planes. Okay, well, that's a fairly big thing, the way they've complicated it up, but I can quickly go through it. Obviously, you need to have these for, you know, single engine frame fuel tank and armament, and you need the aero engines, and then with that unlocks the ability to research this. So you need these and this to get that. Okay, so you need that. Then you will want to look around for things like machine gun focus, wing guns, aircraft evaluation, and similar things, air systems, fuselage. Here you will want to get some of these things like drop tanks when you can efficiently get them. Controlled pitch radar will really help. Supercharger will really help. Acrylic bubble, once you can do that efficiently, will be good. So you want a lot of that kind of stuff. Avionics, there's not really much here. But you'll just want the proper machine guns. And that should do you for most of the things. And for doctrines, you'll really want to do fighter pilot training and ground crew, and then air superiority and interception efficiency. those. Oh, and ground. And there's a lot here. If you're going to have radars around, this gives you bonuses from radars. So if you're building a bunch of radars over Germany, or around here, and then you're using your fighters to fight off bombers and enemy fighters, that will really help. Or if you're building radars along the coast, that will really help. But if you're not building a lot of radars and you're looking over the Soviet Union out here, that won't help. So it's sort of a big, interlacing of things. And hello, IKB, how you doing? I guess that's sort of the quick and dirty explanation of all of that. Mentioning radars here. Okay, we're getting barbed wire. Nice. Barbed wire might have been a good growth business in the Nazi Germany. Let's do a radar station here. Let's do a radar station here. And let's do a radar station back here in Berlin. Yeah, well, they're sort of expensive. Let's get them sort of in production. That will help. Some mentioning that. We are getting to the times that it may be. You don't need radar stations in 1938, so there's no point in building them too early, but you do want a few around. Well, I've looked at it for just a moment, the rail cam, that one of the ones you posted, and it was sort of nighttime in Britain, so it wasn't much going on. But yeah. Oh. CAG. Oh, okay. Now CAG. Okay, this is good that you brought that up. Carrier air groups. There's a problem with Hearts of Iron 4. Is once you basically kill off the carrier air group, the AI will not build, and even if they have them, generally speaking, will not send replacement carriers or replacement aircraft to carriers. So what they've done is, because, and so the only way to, the only, there's some gimmicky ways that they've tried to fix it. Either by, if you have no carriers or no aircraft on these carriers, remove these carriers from the game and put back the carriers with carrier air groups. They've, I think, tried that at one point. Or whatever. And so they won't replace them. So what they've done is made carrier air groups super powerful. So they've overcompensated with the CAG. And so, yeah, but CAGs are also a lot more expensive, at least they should be, to build than regular aircraft. So you can't just spam huge numbers of them out there cheaply. I guess you can do that, but it won't be cheap. So yeah, carrier air groups, the CAGs, are meant to be better than fighters and interceptors, because they're also meant to be a lot fewer of them. So yeah, that is a design thing with Black Ice. But maybe they'll get the EULA figured out now and get them to replace. That would be the best solution. Okay, more big guns. No. We have some big guns coming, or have been produced, but okay. Yeah, we'll get some of the radar. Okay, well, That's looking good. Yeah, we've overcompensated on some of those, but we need to learn. I'm watching your playthrough and make a list of what to build so I don't trigger the economic. Okay, yeah, they've reduced or they've increased the number of ICs you can have for this version versus the earlier version. But you can look in the code, and I forget what it is per year. You can look and see the max you can build out. I don't know if you consider it worth the effort, but I modded the Chinese theater and Black Ice and ended up recreating this stalemate with all my tests, AI versus AI. I might need to script operations in the Pacific, though. Okay, yeah, Luigi, that's the problem. The intention of the Black Ice developers, and I agree with them on this, trust me, I have significant disagreements with Black Ice developers, but I like a lot of what they're doing. I love some of it. I like a lot of it. Japan has a problem. The Japanese AI. If there is too much to fight here, it will focus on building ground units and ground warfare to fight a ground war in China. And even if you script in an attack in the rest of the Pacific, which they do have some stuff scripted in, Luigi. I don't right off remember all of what's going on. I remember seeing just recently that one of their failed invasion scripts leaves if the invasion fails and the unit it goes, there's like a unit that gets stuck out here. Just floating in the ocean. But is that the AI will want to fight the ground war and build for the ground war. So even if you script everything else, it'll leave them way too weak to deal with the U.S. So the intention is that by the start of the Pacific War, which historically the reason for the Pacific War is because of the failure to win in China. Absolutely. But they script it to be able to, the design is to win in China so that then they can leave an occupation force there, and then they would have enough forces, both ground and naval and air, but ground forces to occupy places, to go for the Pacific War. Now, what they try to do is make it tougher for the human player playing Japan. See, they're trying to make it so that the AI versus AI, Japan wins, to free up Japan to fight and give America a real challenge. But if you're the human AI, they don't want you to do that. They want you to have to struggle in China, and then the human player makes good decisions. So even if you script things in the Pacific, what will happen is the AI will decide, yeah, we don't need to garrison this island. We need more troops over here. So they'll just simply take and that's why they have the garrison. And I don't know, do they still, infantry unit? No, maybe it was, no. They had, garrison deployment capacity here. What they've done here is, especially the tropical island garrisons, but all these garrisons, they give too much weight, so they cannot move them off of islands. The AI, and so the AI cannot research this, but the human player can. And so when they drop garrisons, scripted garrisons around, they will, cannot be moved. But if you even script them to like add additional non-garrison forces, the AI will just pick them up and move them somewhere else, because it'll go, oh, we really need them fighting China, and because we're not being attacked wherever it is currently. And then the Americans or the British or whoever will just come along and smash them. So, yeah, I hear what you're trying to do. The AI just really isn't capable of doing a two-front war, with one front being a ground war and the other front being a, naval war. It just really isn't going to work out, Luigi. Not not anything I think you can fix. I may be wrong. I hope you're wrong because hey, if you get it going right, that'd be wonderful. Okay, you said no to railway. Yeah, I know. I've already bought some, but they're getting expensive. One to ban gamer or Beano. Yeah, I don't know. You can ban a lot of people, but I don't think I'm the one person you can't ban. We've already got a bunch of railway guns. Are they here in Berlin? Yeah, some of them are. Yeah, we've got some. You have heard that they're going to be bringing railway guns, like very likely to Hearts of Iron 4. So yeah, kind of depressing. I know. Um, quite honestly, spend your time doing other improvements. I would, Luigi. Okay. Supply organization and supply of transportation advance, which are here, and we're going to stop them. We're trying to get rid of the red. I just like more or less to think all the stuff that I have selected to be researched is actually being researched. So we're just going to stop those. Basic torpedoes. That's another one we're going to go. Maybe it's grayed out. Yeah, basic torpedoes. Don't know how submarine torpedoes and basic torpedoes, because basic torpedoes can be torpedoes on destroyers and torpedoes, on motor torpedo boats, are any different. I don't think they are. I think that's Black Ice becoming a little more, hey, we could do more detail. Well, why? Well, because we can. Is it bad? Is it wrong? No, but does it make anything better? Fire control, we're going to stop that. And immersion's important, but I don't know how they differed. A lot of the torpedoes, I don't know if most or all, but a lot of the torpedoes that the motor torpedo boats the Americans had were leftover World War I torpedoes, so they were sort of out of date and didn't work so well. But maybe slightly better than the World War II torpedoes that the Americans started with that worked even worse. So yeah, and like the long lance torpedoes that the Japanese use from the destroyers, I don't think are the same models that are used for submarines. But I don't think that's a technical change. I just think that's a sort of fuel capacity change. That's artillery. Here, small caliber, so we're going to stop that. Okay, we're getting that almost down, and we can move all of that back to production. Now let's take a look at our political situation. Okay, well, we're still hovering at 7%. And we're not growing beyond that at the moment, but that's better than we were. Now, if we were to look at it, see, he would just hurt our ruling party support getting iron-fisted brute. I don't get that description from anything I've read a biography on Ribbentrop, got it over on my shelf over there. That he'd be an iron-fisted brute. He was a very clumsy diplomat. That's true. A very sort of brute of a diplomat, meaning he wasn't. Von Roth was very diplomatic, in the idea of not necessarily, I don't know, as a great compromiser, but very sort of, dealing with other nations. He was persuasive with, finesse more so than Ribbentrop, who was a Nazi ideologue. Yeah, so I would definitely see, susceptibility to the Axis and things like that being stronger with Narath than um, Ribbentrop. So getting, better trade relations and things like that would be good. Okay, well, okay, so now we're into all green and we have a bit of extra here. Several things extra. Several. And we are continuing to not have enough spies. So what we'll do is move more into spying. Lock that down. And we can have a little bit more. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we can do the 1940s. So, well, we might want to do monumental architecture because we're going to try to get news and politics again. Now TRE gives you level 1 of small entertainment shows, small heroic tales, and small news and politics, because it's my assessment, and you can see the huge and it's still, the building's still there, the huge radio studio in Berlin, and they had a centralized program of radio development prior to 1936 active in Germany. I also give 2 of the 3, I think, wrong place. I think it's entertainment shows and news and politics for Britain for the BBC. Those are the 2 that I know that are widespread radio usage that are centralized control. I don't really think I don't know enough about France and its radios. They had lots of radios and whatever. I know in the U.S. there was a huge numbers of radio stations, but until really the war is going, maybe the NRA, and it's not the National Rifle, it's the National Recovery Act, maybe starting there in the mid 30s, but really more in the war do you start getting centralized propaganda type things coming out in the USA, where it's so it's all over the place and not a coherent message. So, and the Soviets, I just don't think there's enough radios in the Soviet Union to give its effect, or in Japan. And I don't know enough about Italy, but I don't think so. So you normally would have starting there. So, and then you build on that. So it's another special bonus for Germany, but I think a historically based one, in my opinion. But we could go to news and politics. Normally, I like to go through at least the first couple here just to get more money and use less consumer goods. But I think if we were to do this, we get more ruling party support. See, that really helps, because if Germany, you start with one of these at 6%, you would have already had at least one here, up to 12% for ruling party support. Yes, thanks, Arno, you can give the thumbs up on the YouTube stream. It does help. But what I was really coming to look here is we could do, which is normally not needed enough to do Palace of the Party here for 20% ruling party support. See, Palace of Justice reduces that down but gives you money. I don't know. I don't quite know why it would either give you money or why it would reduce ruling party support. People getting justice. I don't know if I would say justice would improve national unity, maybe, because people feel that they get justice from the government, might not help them support or be for or against a particular party. And yeah, I'm looking maybe in the U.S. context there. But if you thought the courts gave you good justice, now maybe they see this as a predatory thing, somehow just to, get fines from people to generate resources, money for that is sort of an oppressive. But I see Palace of Justice as sort of like the U.S. Supreme Court. It wouldn't necessarily benefit you monetarily as the government, and would be like, hey, yeah, we're all getting a fair deal from the court system kind of thing. At least the impression of it to the people, and so that would maybe help national unity. I would say that's just my take on this. I know this is sort of old and well before at least most of the people that are working on Black Ice now. Yeah, counter imperial foreign ministry, that ruling party support, I could see that. Imperial finance ministry, yeah, that of course would be money. War ministry, that's normally the one I would be taking now to help organization up. But with what we're happening politically here now, yeah, this is good for occupation duties. This is not. Now, daily descent, yeah, that's good. That's been added from, I think, the original one. Originally, it was just money, I think, but you never got enough money back from what it moved. But so what? Just going from this, we want to get the Palace of the Party to deal with what our current problem is. So we're going to come over here and do monumental architecture to push that forward to get that done. I don't mind all the effort to maintaining party popularity, but Nazi Party was 7%. Yeah. It's just again, I don't know the reasons for this. It could be they've played with the EULA so that they made, like Britain and France, to be more aggressive to support their parties, which might be explaining why we're seeing Social Democrat and Social Conservative from Britain and France or something as being very popular. Maybe the Soviet Union's also throwing in theirs. I too don't mind the idea that we need to work for it, but it's a lot easier with TRE, I know, because you have the Volkskamper, the People's Radio out that Germany did, and there's a lot of historic stuff that really, by 36 and then after, really cements the party popularity for the Nazis. I think it was I forget, it was either in 1933 or 1934. They hold a huge, and so that would be May Day. So that's in May, and they come to power in the beginning of 33. So it was either in 33 or 34, I think. They hold a huge national May Day celebration. The DAF does, the Deutsches Arbeitersfront, the German Workers' Front, which is basically the Nazi workers' unions, along with the socialist workers' unions, on May the 4th. And then I think the next day was a Saturday, but I'm not sure on that year. But the next day, on May the 5th, they raid every single socialist union's headquarters to seize all of their files, including all their membership lists, and arrest basically all the leadership elements. The next day, after having this big, huge joint celebration the day before, the next day they go in and raid and arrest all of the leaders of the socialist unions in Germany. And that does cause, a little bit of upset. But by the time you're looking around, 37, 38, most factory workers, at least as my understanding of it, are are relatively happy with the situation because they're getting good pay. They're having relatively good working standards. You know, the environment in the factories are reasonably safe because, you know, hell, a big steel furnaces, you've seen the film of, you know, pouring, you know, huge molten vats of steel and steel rollers. Those are dangerous places. Like I remember, I think it was in a documentary or something I saw years ago now, in talking about some of the U.S. steel mills. You can't work in a steel mill and have coins in your pockets because those coins will heat up in your pockets and burn you enough just because it's that hot. So they have to, you know, come to work and make sure all their loose change and whatever gets put into some sort of locker or something, basket or whatever it was. And so, because you couldn't just have it because it's just too hot. So yeah, those are dangerous environments, but they're getting, you know, relative worker safety going on, improving relatively workers' housings under the Nazis. So most of the people that had been, you know, now if you're still a diehard communist, either you have been locked up or suppressed in some way, so you've just shut up. But if you're just sort of a middle of the road socialist type worker, not one of the leadership elements, you're sort of now happy with a national socialist in Germany going on. So there's a lot of support going for the Nazis. It's not diehard maybe, but it's a lot of it. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Okay, cruiser damage control has advanced. So we're going to come over here and we're going to stop it because it's less priority than some of the other stuff we're going to be doing. And United Kingdom have launched our Royal, and we are getting more tank factories, or automotive factories, and more medium aircraft factories. Very nice. Yes, Eric is the master designer of things 3D. He does really good work there. Okay. So we're going to get monumental architecture when we can. Advanced education, which will be more leadership, or do we want to do? No, I think more more research efficiency. No, we'll do more leadership first. So let's increase our education levels. So we'll continue. I just sort of know that when I have a surplus of spies, I have a surplus of spies, so we've maxed out our abilities of what we've assigned spies to do. Good. Okay, this is one of the reorganization, the Luftwaffe events. So they're removing a bunch of the brigades and then adding a bunch more. So we'll let the calendar go through for a day. And then what we want to do here is come down here and attach you to the HQ. Here. And then over here. Now from there, what we need to do is, we do it so efficiently here, find the local, where are you? There we go, I guess. We want some intermediate ones. HQs. Fleet Corps in Berlin? Yeah, we could do that, I guess. Fighter Fleet Corps needs to now be attached back to a. Would you have a Berlin? Yeah, there we go. Another flak regiment. Yeah, let's. Well, we have a few of those, but yeah, I guess we'll do it to the fighter one. Hello, Joseph. Well, we were trying to figure things out here, seeing how things are developing. Steel Dutch blueprints, nah. We're doing good. We gotta focus our spies on trying to deal with our political situation, Arno. Okay, now we're up to 11%, and internal factors are growing, but internal autocrats, which only have one slot in the government, are doing much better than us for some reason. Okay, so we have done that. Now we're going to do hit here, and hit here. All right, okay, so now we're back on track of all of this stuff to continue building. We're still building out huge amounts of factories, which is a bit more than I normally want to do this late in the game. Some of these are very much because we have those small industrial centers. Okay, which means I'm probably behind on some of my building. Let's see. We can do 2 light bombers, 2 close air supports. And do 2 destroy. Okay, we'll do 2 motor torpedo boats, 2 torpedo boats, which are the frigate class vessels, and 2 destroyers. That way they'll help the practicals and get them sort of in production better. And then I think we're going to do 2 medium bombers. Squadrons, really, but not just 2 individual bombers, 2 squadrons. Maybe you can steal the snorkel. Yeah, or superior Dutch Fokker G1. I don't know that the G1 is superior, I just don't know. Yeah, I know Arno, but we're not going to bother with that most. Right now we got other things to try to deal with. For spies, okay, tank destroyers advance. And we'll stop that because we have more important. Gotta prioritize. Got to prioritize. By looking at the organization. Okay, that's interesting because, like, as you can tell. Okay, distance from organization. Right. I'm not, well, I don't know what, quite honestly, if there's anything more than we could see here other than internal factors, if it would show. You're seeing what I'm seeing. No, organization. Oh, up here. Okay. Okay. Okay, spies. Yeah, this is being supported by spies, I guess. I guess. 280, 539, 1500. Okay, so these are okay. So this is. Thank you. I did not know about this. I played thousands and thousands of hours, but quite honestly, I've sort of ignored a lot of this. So our troubles apparently, organization levels, because that's hardly any spies. That's 20 or whatever. So it would seem some paternal autocrat government is pumping up their own spies in our government. It seems like we're being targeted by just about everybody. Info. You threat their neutrality, the threat to us. But I wonder if they're like promoting up things. So I think it's a lot of different governments that are promoting up their ideologies in Germany. I think they've, I don't know if broken something is the right term, but they've flipped a switch, and now various countries are all dumping their spies into Germany. Okay, even more production. Not that that's bad, just means I have to make choices now. Well, I don't know. We have radar being built out here. Radar down here in Berlin. Let's put one here. And you know how much I love them, so we're going to go with more flying boats and more naval bombers. Yeah. Intelligence. Okay. Maybe Argentina. Ruling party support. Maybe Italy would be promoting the fascists. Japan, maybe Japan's pushing the paternal aristocrats on us. We've got a lot of spies trying to do tech espionage. That's why we know a lot about that. Ministers, yeah. But Hungary, ministers. Yeah, they may be the ones that are pushing us that way. You have the 1st Cavalry Division active now. We have this here. The 1st Cavalry Brigade active right now. There should be an event to make it more into a division coming up. So I think that's what's going on. So many countries have been pushing their party ideologies onto Germany. Don't know how I feel about that. Airborne unit training. Single engine fighter prototype is advanced. Very nice. If it's something that I know about and can counter, I'm not going to go, oh, this is terrible, 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 and scream and yell about it. If I know about it and know how to counter it, which if we figure this out, that's okay. It just means something that you need to do. But I would rather have the AI be smart, active opponent than just a stupid, dumb one sitting over in the corner and not doing anything. But I don't know if what they're doing is smart. I just don't know. Let's get some of these going first. Let's do agriculture first. Because yes, if I don't counter it and they can collapse my government, that would be a bad, bad thing. But if they would have done better disrupting national unity, or I don't know, securing their own stuff, machine gun cannon combo, armament, okay, too far in advance, and anyways we want to move this up over to here. Let's get this going. Is it better to send spies into me, or is it better to improve your tech? Let's do 2 more twin engine fighters. Get a lot of aircraft in production. Okay, well, we're going to end the episode here, but not the live stream, but the episode. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. See you around next time for more, yes, even more Hearts of Iron.